Greetings, knowledge seekers. The force is with you. My name is Priyanjoni, and today we're going to talk about a brand new professional all-in-one DJ system from Pioneer DJ, the 4-channel standalone capable OPUS-QUAD. If you want to see a full technical rundown of this unit, check out Pioneer DJ USA's full overview right here. But for this video, we're going to highlight the design and features that I like, as well as some of the ways I would use it. So stick around after this message. This video is brought to you by Direct Music Service. Check out the description or the pinned comment below for discount codes.
May the force be with you.
As always, a friendly disclosure, as many of you might already know, I am an official product demonstrator for Pioneer DJ, but this video right here is not produced in partnership or collaboration with Pioneer DJ. This one I'm doing on my own, which is my personal bit on how I would use it for the time the unit's still here with me. As always, with DJ gear on my channel, this is a demo and not a review. So, as for the design of the OPUS-QUAD, it's the first of its kind. While there has been a series of Pioneer DJ all-in-one DJ systems, the XDJ line, notice it's not branded under the XDJ product line. It's entirely in a new lane of its own. Pioneer DJ went for a radical new body shape that fans out, along with a 5-degree top tilt of a matte black finish. And it's rounded at the front edge, combined with an earth tone side and front ridge, giving it an overall unique look. It's a little bigger than the XDJ-XZ, but keep in mind, it's not its replacement. XDJ-XZ is still the flagship of the XDJ line and is the only all-in-one that's capable of Pro DJ Link with CDJs. Now, even the jog wheels aren't the same as a standard CDJ style, and they're complemented with these LED rings, which you can customize. In fact, you can customize them for each individual deck. You can do all red for that dark side look, blue and green for that light side look, or red and blue if you feel conflicted. All 4 decks can have their own color, so it's easy to keep track of which deck you're on. And you heard right. It's Pioneer DJ's first 4-deck capable standalone unit. And whenever you see that there's 32-bit ESS technology, digital to analog and analog to digital converters, it means it's the highest possible sound quality with lowest possible distortion and noise. This is the same technology that's found on the DJM A9 and the DJM V10. Now, you often hear folks call all-in-one DJ systems as standalone units or standalone controllers, or even sometimes a controller with a USB port. An all-in-one DJ system is actually a combination of being able to be used as a standalone unit and as a DJ controller with DJ software. When you're using it in standalone, it's not actually acting as a controller because it's not controlling anything. On OPUS-QUAD, you can use this with a laptop or play it on a rekordbox exported drive. If you need to play music quickly from a mobile device, not only does it have Bluetooth, but you can select the Bluetooth input on either channel 1 or channel 4. So for playback, here are your options. You can either use the 2 USB-A ports on the top with a thumb drive, just like on an XDJ. If you have a solid-state external drive, there's a USB 3.2 Type A port on the back. And that port is actually next to a USB Type-C port that you can plug directly to your computer or mobile device. With the Type-C port or the Ethernet port, you can use it for link export with rekordbox in export mode. And you also have the option to play music wirelessly from a mobile source or load tracks with Cloud Direct Play from your rekordbox linked Dropbox account if you have a subscription to rekordbox's Core, Creative, or Pro plan. If you look at the overall look and feel of the mixer section, there's a little bit of that DJM V10 vibe going on with it. And that's in terms of the minimalistic LED meter colors, the black knobs, as well as a smoother and tighter faders. Now, I don't have to deep dive into it, but the touchscreen is huge. It's 10.1 inches. The user interface is optimized for 4-deck playback, and everything is made for quicker search and browse of your music. 2 features borrowed from the XDJ-RX 3 are the Playlist Bank and the Beat Effects Bank. We'll get to the effects in a bit, but essentially on Playlist Bank, you can choose your top 4 playlists you want to save, and you can quickly jump to them without scrolling through your huge library. The new Smart Rotary Selector is bigger and has more gestures than just scroll and push. When you're in a long playlist of songs, up and down will let you skip 10 songs in either direction. When you have a song selected with a waveform, left and right will allow you to monitor the track, either starting from the beginning or skipping to the middle. You can see a line where the cursor is when you're going left and right. Now you might be wondering, what's that for? Well, this feature is actually part of Touch Preview, which lets you touch and scrub through the same waveform and listen to the track in your headphones before it's even loaded. So I'm going to put these headphones near the microphone and we're going to scrub right through it. Now with the joystick, middle. So you can either do touch preview or preview with the joystick. The hot cues are arranged in a 1x8 button array, directly above the jog wheel and below the secondary deck display. If you're a CDJ-3000 user, you'll find this a lot more comfortable because it keeps the hot cues away from accidentally triggering them. Instead of the standard controller position, it's up here where you have line of sight with your deck display. Now it's a good time to mention that each deck has a secondary deck display that shows you deck information and it's independent from the main touch display. Now while OPUS-QUAD doesn't have gated hot cues, there's a new smart cue feature that makes it much easier and faster to set your current cue, or sometimes called a temporary cue, to any of your 8 hot cues. You see, just like the CDJ-3000 or any of the flagship CDJs since the CDJ-1000, the behavior of the hot cues is to begin with playback when your track is not playing. So I have this stopped. When I hit the hot cue, it goes to play because it's a hot cue. Because of that, in order to set your current cue exactly to your hot cue, you have to wind it back and click the cue. Now, if you're in a rush, this takes a little bit more time and there's a chance you might not get the exact right spot correct, especially during a live mix. Now on CDJs and XDJs, you could just set a memory cue where your hot cues are, but if you change or edit your hot cues, the memory cues won't match up. So instead, if you enable this feature, which overwrites the current cue with the hot cue, so we're gonna go into our utility deck, overwrite current cue with hot cue, turn that on. You simply click the hot cue, and the current cue turns to the color of the last hot cue you triggered. That's because the current cue has now changed to match the hot cue. It's a one-button click as opposed to winding it back, set the current cue, or prepping several memory cues. If you use Rekordbox in performance mode with your hot cues set to gated, or if you just use Serato DJ Pro, which are just naturally gated hot cues, naturally, it's technology. You're probably already familiar doing this simply by clicking the hot cue that you want, followed by the current cue button. Because when it's on a momentary trigger, you can set the current cue. Smart Cue does this without the need for a gated cue and consolidates it to simply clicking the hot cue once. If you can't tell by how much I'm going on about this, I personally love this feature because it makes playing on standalone much more efficient for me and closer to what I'm used to with DJ software. It's just one click, kind of like that subscribe button. Moving on, check out how beat effects works on the OPUS-QUAD. You got a high tension rotary encoder instead of a selector switch that lists and displays the beat effects you want on the screen. And also, instead of a switch to select the channels, you can select it on the touchscreen and it lines right up with the physical channel. Basic workflow of the beat effects is pretty much how you know it from previous Pioneer DJ gear. If you need me to deep dive into it, drop a comment. But here's what's fresh and new on the OPUS-QUAD. Open the beat effects display by clicking beat effects. You have this XY pad that associates with whatever beat effects you have selected. It's actually a combo effect on each axis where you can slide and control 2 effects simultaneously with 1 finger. You even have hold. To the right of the screen, like I mentioned earlier, there are 4 beat effects banks you can save 4 of your favorite effects to. So now right now I have reverb, spiral, echo, and roll. I'm going to delete those. So if I set an effect that I really like, say echo, I just click bank 1, And maybe I'll do phaser on bank 2, roll on bank 3, and filter on bank 4. Now I can quickly choose each one of these effects without scrolling through the entire list of effects. This way, you don't have to scroll up and down using the encoder. The rotary encoder selector also makes it less confusing when using beat effects bank, so it doesn't show the wrong effect when you're using the bank like you would when there's a physical effects switch. OPUS-QUAD also has smooth echo, just like on the DJM S11 and DDJ-REV7. A lot of you already seen how this works, especially for scratching and ducking. But the really cool feature here is that when you open the smooth echo settings, there's a visual display of where your triggers are. I don't know if any of you Trekkies see what I see, but this reminds me of how some starships have the ship schematic on the LCARS display behind them. Shields up, but all the smooth echo settings are here, selecting a trigger, beat duration, and number of beats to trigger by for the crossfader. Now, all 6 of the popular color effects found on the DJM series mixers are here as well. Channel 3 and 4 can be routed to the zone output if you need to play background music in another room while you're mixing in the main room. I've heard from mobile DJs who have a separate cocktail room where they are simply just playing a playlist from an iPad, and sometimes you can't really keep an eye on it. With the zone output, it comes directly from the Opus, so you don't have to worry about running back and forth, making sure everything is tight in the second room. Now, I also know many DJs who primarily play with DJ software and only use standalone as a secondary. Some of the mobile DJs I've talked to say that they use the standalone when they're outdoors, then switch back to their Macs when temperatures are a lot cooler. With Intel computers, sometimes overheating can become a problem. Now, from launch, you can use Rekordbox in performance mode with the OPUS-QUAD, which also means you can use Rekordbox in export mode using Link Export. If you want to know what Link Export is, I covered it in my 4 ways to use a CDJ video right here. Support for the Rekordbox app for iOS and Android comes in April of 2023, and Serato DJ Pro is expected in the summer of 2023. With all the mobile DJ friendly features on this, they didn't skip out on the microphones. There are 2 XLR TRS combo jacks, one on the back, the other on the front. And they both independently each have their own volume control, EQ, and talkover switch. Mic 1 is on the mixer, while mic 2 is on the front next to its mic jack. 2 additional inputs for line or phono are on the rear for channels 3 and 4. You already know, this is where I'm going to be hooking up my guitar. And if you want to see my performance where I use the OPUS-QUAD with my guitar, follow this video right here, and I'll see you over there. And don't forget, the Force is with you always.